body. He's past this limit, and yet still fight.
Nicole, what are you doing? Oh my god.
Your wish has been granted.
Hello guys, and welcome to my reactions to episode 7 of Code Geass, Roze of the Recapture, Hazy Moon. Now, what's really interesting is that with episode 6 concluded the second film. So now we are starting the third film of Roze of the Recapture. And unlike the second film where I had some knowledge, I know I said in that video I didn't know much, but I did have some basic information about the Damocles. But here, I'm kind of going blind a little bit because the leaks for the third film were kind of vague. So I'm really excited to go through this, and I'm really hoping that now we're done with the nostalgia crap that basically occurred from episodes 1 to 6. We are now going to get into the meat of the show, where we're going to learn more about the characters, maybe learn more about the plot, get some more world building, and things of that nature. Stuff that I was not happy with in the first 6 episodes. Hopefully, we'll start getting more of that from episodes 7 to 12. I know that the last film aired in Japan, and hopefully that did well, but I did not look at any spoilers, and I will not do that for the rest of the series, because based on what I know about the film, I want to be surprised. So I'm really excited about that. Anyways, without further ado, let us now react to episode 7 of Roze of the Recapture, Hazy Moon. Again, I really hope this is going to be a good one. Let's get to it.
You.
Oh yeah, this last part from the last episode?
That little chat with Natalia. It was about Sakuya, wasn't it?
How do you know that? I thought he looked into research. I mean, I was kind of joking the last episode that must have happened, but like I didn't know how he actually figured that out. That's kind of weird.
A retainer who was devoted to his mistress.
He acted up like that because he was devoted to Sherry?
I am Princess Sherry's knight.
Oh, just like Jeremiah was like kind of serving Marianne there. Interesting.
Of loyalty in my heart still remains. Loyalty that extends to Empress Sakuya. And now that you know that, if all of your actions are to protect her, then I will gladly work with you.
This is so weird. Why was he so aggressive towards her? That bait and switch wasn't great. But, okay, so Walther's going to be helping out Sakura. Alright.
I did it. Jugo Sumeragi. I killed him.
Ash Phoenix. I thought I did a thorough background check.
I feel like that line right there, the thorough background check, was just done to cover their ass. But, okay.
I, Sakuya Sumeragi, command you to tell me everything about Ash Phoenix. Be sure not to leave out a single detail.
You know, now thinking about it, I don't think that's a good command to give her, because won't they be there forever? I mean, keep in mind, every single detail would also relate to hair color, eye color, body type, what they ate, how they dress, how they act. I think what you really just want to ask is just explain me who Ash is and his backstory and what happened to him. I don't think you want every single detail. That command was really weird. Very nitpicky, I'm just saying. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel Walter's little thing there. I mean, if he thought that she was the double, then, did he always know that she was the double? Did he know about Sakura beforehand? I guess so, because he was working for Sherry, so he must have been aware of her. So I guess this whole time he knew that she wasn't really Sakuya, or she wasn't really Sakuya, I guess. Maybe I'm overanalyzing stuff, I don't know. But yeah, that background check thing, I mean, that's kind of a cover your ass moment, because what was the background check consisting of? How'd you look into Ash's background in general? Also, another thing I was thinking about, this nun holds a lot of important information. You think someone would have killed her at this point?
Yes, sir.
And Ash, fight as you wish.
Oh, do some training stuff here, cool.
I say we split up and flank them. Sounds like a plan. Don't worry, I wasn't hit.
Some cool training stuff here against Ash. Nice to see that they're doing stuff like that. Oh, one gone.
Munemori, you're out.
You must be aware of everything going on around you.
Are you up for the challenge?
Of course. Just try to keep up.
Colin versus Aku in like a smaller scale version. Okay.
Ash and his younger brother Nicole lost their parents during the era of the Britannian Empire. Ash was such a lively boy. Nicole, on the other hand, was unfortunately born with rather poor health.
Narah's so adorable here, not gonna lie.
3 years later, the two of them were adopted and taken in by Lord Muneborg.
That's how they ended up with Lord Norland.
That's right. That's how I ended up with Lord Norland, because he adopted them.
You know they have to go.
Man, Narah is much older here than she was before. She must be like, what, several years older, at least. So if Ash is like 16, 17, maybe 18, Narah must be like 20, 22, because she looks a lot older than him.
Me too, I promise. Okay.
That settles it.
You know, one thing about these flashbacks, I wish they'd tell you exactly what year this was, because I like to know from perspective, like, while this was happening, what else was going on. I mean, I can kind of guess, but I don't know for sure exactly when this was.
Easy now. Are you okay?
I do not have use for those who are weak.
This really is like Yu-Gi-Oh! Gozaburo Kaiba was like, sorry Kaiba, only you can come with me, and he's like, you must take me a Mokuba.
I'll do anything!
Ash, you should not have said that. Haruka versus Ash here, kind of cool. I win, are you dumb? Ash shot, there you go. I really feel like this show is more about that than anything else.
The slightest delay can be deadly on the battlefield.
At least we're seeing some inexperience of Haruka. Again, I'm not sure why she's the ace pilot. It feels like it's a title makes no sense. Okay, we got Kristoff with Ash training. I saw this in a trailer. Well, part of this in a trailer. Man, Kristoff is a crazy, multi-purposeful human being. He's a scientist. He's a good Nightmare Frame pilot. He's also a good hand-to-hand combat master. Also, what he told Ash there is what Ash tried to tell Haruka about how you should limit your movements when killing someone, or at least in battle.
I can still fight.
Sure you can, Ash.
Look, I don't care if you're Lord Norland's favorite or whatever.
So Arno was another one of the people that Norland was training to be one of his pilots, I guess? Okay, interesting. Or one of his soldiers.
Unacceptable. His fighting style.
Ooh, Bismarck. Interesting. But wait a minute. If Bismarck is here, and so is Norland, so was Norland, I guess he was the Knight of the Round. Which one, I bet? I think I read somewhere he was 5. So Norland was the Knight of 5. Okay. And Bismarck didn't, by the way, Bismarck didn't approve of what he was doing. That opens the door to a lot of questions.
You say understood.
Yeah, Ash, don't talk back to him. If he tells you to do something, you say understood.
Killing becomes too hard for you. Then kill your heart.
My question, though, is why is Norland having Ash kill these people? What was the purpose behind it?
One who Lord Lunaborg found inconvenient.
Okay, but why were they inconvenient? Ooh, Knight of the Round member. So Ash, yeah, PK Knight of the Round. 13. So that was Barbarossa's title in Reign of Darkness. But he got the same title too? I thought they got rid of that after Barbaros.
Big brother?
Man, Ash is like messed up here, huh?
I have to kill my heart.
Yep, you gotta kill your heart. You have to kill your heart.
I'm sorry, Ash.
I wish they would explain why Norland wanted the assassination to begin with. Like, what was the grander goal behind it? It just seems kind of, not pointless, but kind of pointless. It's another assassination. Like, why are they killing these people? What's the reason behind it? Oh, it's that girl from before. Their friend.
Ash, is that really you?
I wanted to see you, but not like this.
But I don't understand, like, why they're... Oh, my God. God, Nicole...
Have to do this to survive.
But, like, why, though? They're working with Norland, I get that, but why does he want the people dead? You can't just have him... Like, this is really dark, and I get that. But, like, why are we killing these people? What's the grander scheme here? Do they not support Norland's plans to... I don't know, it's so confusing. Now we're the Neo-Britannian Empire, so a lot of time passed between then, right? Bismarck's now dead, so... God, everything is going so fast here. Wish they just slow it down a little bit, just to... What's the word? Help understand things better. It's just so damn fast. We were swimming as a kid, now he's... How many years has passed since? Again, I wish I knew how much time was going on between then and now.
Mind and body is past this limit, and yet still...
Nicole, what are you doing? Oh my God.
Your wish has been granted.
He didn't want to die, you retard. Sorry, my language. I'm just so mad with this. That's not what he wanted. It was just more of...
That was a bit much, don't you think?
If this guy had issues, what's that guy's name? Heath? Then why'd he stay with them? Now Arnold's mad. Also, his hair turned gray, partially? Not sure.
Usually increase the body count.
There's Narah. She's so upset about this. You know, this is so...
I'll leave that to you.
Wait, okay, so Narah could do what she wanted with Ash, but she saw Norland kill an innocent civilian. What? Alright, there's something about that I'm confused about, but alright. Oh, here we go, good part here. I guess Narah put him in jail. It's Jugo.
Nice to meet you.
He's a funny guy. He sounded like that too from the last episode with the flashback.
How many times do I have to tell you?
Can Catherine just leave the show? She's so annoying. It's not funny or cute, it's just annoying.
It's vital you keep acting as the true Empress. I believe doing so will ultimately result in her protection.
Well, I mean, until they figure out that you're not a, you're not the real thing.
was in such a brutal workplace. What a delightful fetish you...
Man, Kristoff's really weird. Why is it a fetish? She likes roses. What's the problem, dude?
The person I'm really after is someone he's connected to. But I might have to employ slightly rougher methods.
So is Kristoff telling Narah that if she doesn't cooperate, he'll torture her? I don't know. Now we're back to the flashback, by the way.
Understood. I'll speak with my supervisor.
They're giving Ash some food. That's very nice. Yeah, Jugo's a nice guy. He deserves so much better.
If my daughter saw me now, I bet she'd go on about how I used to look cool.
Yeah, Sakuya would be upset about that. Also, something else too about Jugo, which I really respect, and they're not really emphasizing it in the show here because of time probably, but his wife's dead, so Sherry's no longer here and he's still being very positive. That just tells you what kind of person he is. But again, I wish the show kind of emphasized that.
I'll be back to notify you of the exact date.
Wow, nice guy.
Little Callis will succeed me and take his place on the throne.
But why would that be the case? That makes no sense.
Tends to establish his own puppet regime and...
Wait, it doesn't make any sense though. They own the country. Jugo has no authority to be in charge anymore. They own the island. Or, yeah, they own the island.
The thought of never seeing my precious daughter again, that hurts.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
I'm sorry.
But what about your wife, Steph? I guess he's moved on. I don't know.
I'm the same way.
Oh man, look at that face Ash gave him. The face I'm dead inside.
If it's all right, I'd like to know more.
Ash is going to open up to his past. Interesting.
So Ash obliged and began to tell him everything.
What you need is to find something else to love.
And whatever it is, it's the thing that'll give you strength.
Yeah, this is really weird. Shouldn't Jugo talk about how he moved on after his wife died? I mean, this is really weird. Shouldn't he mention the fact that he lost his wife and how he moved on in life? That would have been the best time to bring it up. That's really confusing.
My daughter Sakuya being first, of course.
Well, your wife would have been number one, right? Jugo's a really funny guy. It's just too bad he's only probably going to be his one episode, which is a damn shame.
Sakuya isn't marrying anyone.
Okay, so there's like a foreshadowing here about Jugo being, about Sakuya marrying Ash.
She's the most beautiful girl you'll ever meet.
Yeah, she's Lelouch as a female, absolutely. She is very beautiful.
I've just received the word. Your execution will be held tomorrow.
Oh, damn.
A terrorist group led by Kensei Kuroto has risen up and...
Maybe Kuroto should have done that then. Ooh, he's going to try to help him escape. Interesting.
Norland will use her as political leverage.
That's true, Ash. They will use her as political leverage, which is what happened anyways.
Then both our lives are in your hands. I'm trusting you.
Alright, Ash, you can do this. Here's the escape. What a strange-looking prison.
I've never broken a promise. I won't start now.
Interesting, okay. She's adorable.
So this is Sakuya Sumeragi.
Well, not now. She's much older. But it's an older picture. I guess he doesn't have anything for her being older. Well, that's supposed to be like I don't know, how would I put this? It's one of those things where he thought she was a child, I guess, and didn't think she was a grown, like, girl at this point, or woman. Oh, shot in the leg. Oh, damn. Damn it. Jugo's right. Ash needs to go and protect Sakuya.
Keep your word and protect my daughter.
Oh my god, this is so sad. Run for it, Ash. Use your super speed. Your Suzaku ability to dodge bullets.
It'll be fine.
Oh. Oh, damn. What a brutal death. Jeez. So basically, when Ash said it was his fault for Jugo's death, it was, as Obi-Wan might point out, from a certain point of view, it was his fault, but not really his fault. Of course, Roze didn't know that. I still don't buy that Callis crap. Doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, Ash returned home. He looks awful. So he talks to the nun. This is how she learned everything. I was kind of wondering how the nun knew all this. I just wanted to keep watching to find out. But I guess he told her the whole story.
He's dead! Jugo Sumeragi is dead!
He loved his brother. Impersonated him.
Well, you didn't know. In fairness, you didn't know. Why should his Geass on him, though? Like, there's something really odd about this that I have to discuss, I suppose, after we're done watching the episode. Well, again, you didn't know that, so I'm not gonna hate on you so much. Although, I do have some questions about that.
Your Geass won't work through.
How did Kristoff know she was here? Was it from Narah? I don't know. Yeah, her reckless use of Geass has nearly got her killed. Oh, God. That poor biker. Those masks are like, what is it called? The helmets that Magneto had. They're immune to Geass. Now we're in Natalia's mansion. Oh, no, that plushie. She's being arrested, too. How did they... What reports? From who? Who told them this? Oh, it's Jeremiah. I mean, it's Arnold. Jeez, what a psycho.
You? The mods really smoothed out your edges. I can't wait.
Oh my god, the dancing nightmare frame. Also, are those two banging? I really feel like they are. It's crazy. And now she's in the straitjacket. Wow. I have a lot of things to say about this episode, so let's get to that. Okay, so first of all, this episode was good. Not gonna take that away. This was a fantastic episode. It really looks like that they are moving past the nostalgia bait garbage and they're trying to tell an actual original story. Now, granted, they are still reusing stuff like Arnold being a cyborg, the Geass Chancellor, and even Geass in general. But besides that, I feel like we're getting less and less with the Star Wars Awakenings elements to the story, and we're finally doing something different. So that's a positive. The flashback was really good, explaining Ash's past. I really enjoyed how we learned about his brother and how Norland made him an assassin to kill different people, ultimately killed those he actually loved, which was depressing. Nicole died as a result of holding him back, which messed up Ash's entire life. Then he ended up with Jugo in prison, and then Jugo was executed for saving his own life, so Ash feels responsible for so many people that have died. And then he runs into Sakuya randomly. She uses Geass on him, and now he serves her. So that part was really good, and I also like the elements of Walther working with Sakura. This episode was quite simple by comparison. We don't have too many pan-outs of different things. It focused solely on just Ash's backstory, which I like, because so many of the past episodes had too much crap in it, where you don't know what the hell was going on in it. I still forget, even though it wasn't that long ago, what happened in past episodes, because so many things occurred that I just couldn't retain all of it. But here, it's very simple. We learn about Ash's backstory, and Walther learns about Sakura's existence, and he's trying to help her out. And also there's that little plot with Kristoff and the Geass Chancellor. That's what I like to see in a good episode. A simple plot that's singly focused on like one main thing. And I feel like every episode prior has had too much shit going on, at least for the most part. So all that is good stuff. And this makes me appreciate Ash's character even more. He's still not my favorite, and I still have issues with him, but I at least understand him a lot more, which is good. Now with Sakuya, I still have some issues with her character, but that's a video for another time. Another positive thing here, we got to see Bismarck again, and also learned that Ash was a Knight of 13, and Norland was a Knight of a Round as well. I mean, based on the past numbers, I believe he's a Knight of 5. I don't know if I'm spoiling something by saying that, but I mean, you already saw he was a Knight of a Round member. So these are all positive things. Now we gotta get to negative stuff because there's quite a bit. First of all, this episode, to me, could have been broken up into maybe 2 or 3 episodes because there's so much information that they're cramming at you. I'm glad it's singly focused, like I mentioned. We're only, narrowly focused. We're looking just at Ash's backstory. But this could have been a series of episodes, and it's frustrating to me that we wasted episodes 4 to 6 on the Damocles, something that was completely unnecessary and pointless. We could have instead focused on Ash's backstory and gone more into the world building of how Neo Britannia formed, because throughout this episode we were getting small hints here and there, but there are still so many questions, and they keep presenting more information that just makes me even more confused on what's going on, or I should say lead to more confusing things. I mean, okay, so Bismarck knew about Norland doing these things in Lundenburg, and what came of that? Why wasn't Norland involved in any of the Night Around operations in the original anime or mentioned? Obviously, we know why he didn't exist, but you get my point. Ash was the Knight of 13, which, if you guys don't know, prior to this, I think Barbaros was the only other one we know of in Reign of Darkness. Although I read somewhere in the Wikipedia page, and I guess there's no proof of this, that the Knight of 13 was abandoned after Barbaros, but then Ash got the title, which again makes you wonder where the hell he was during all of this. It's just one of those things where it's cool you're trying to connect events, but you gotta be a little bit better at explaining where people were, because it was very clear during Lelouch's ascension to Emperor that all the Knights of the Realm members were on, they were on deck to help out Charles, or there's a better way to put it, but I can't think of a better way to phrase it. The point is they were there to help out Charles against Lelouch and Suzaku. So the fact that they weren't present, you kind of have to explain that. And they don't do that, of course, because again, they didn't exist. Now, there are 13 Knights of the Round members. We didn't see all 13, so of course they could have been around, right? But you still have to explain where the hell they were during those events. I'm not against the idea they existed and we didn't see them, but you have to explain why they weren't there, and it has to be somewhat of a plausible explanation. For example, with Narah, we don't know why she wasn't present with the other Knights of the Round members when they fought against Suzaku, but at least we saw her present with the Knights of the Round in general, so she was there, but she was doing something else. And then Oz of the Reflection came around and explained what Narah was doing. So you have to do something like that with this series. Of course, thankfully, they introduced Narah before they explained her actions, as opposed to here, they've introduced Norland and Ash as Knight of the Round members, and now they have to explain what the hell they were doing during events of the Zero Requiem. Something tells me that's not going to happen, which is really frustrating. And by the way, not just Zero Requiem, but all the events in R2. When Jugo mentioned that Callis would take over if he died, this makes no sense because Neo Britannia runs the country. Or, well, the Hokkaido block. It's not the country, but it's the area. Well, to them, it's their country. So Jugo has no power anyways. The only reason why he had some kind of authority was because he was, I guess, married to Sherry, but she doesn't have any right to the throne. And he doesn't either. He has no royal blood. It's Sakuya that would have that ability, or Sherry, but not him. So I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. Succession in this show makes no sense. Also, I said before, and I'll say it again, it is really weird how he doesn't bring up the fact that his wife just died, or died several years ago, and doesn't talk to Ash about how to move on from death when he lost his wife. He doesn't even mention her at all during any of the conversation with him. It's just really weird because what Kuroto said implied they were very close, but he never mentions her once. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think the writers didn't realize what they were doing. It's a nitpick perhaps, but it also kind of demonstrates a lack of self-awareness in the writing or just awareness in general when you're writing, because if Ash is trying to get over the death of his younger brother, then Jugo should talk about how he got over Sherry's death, but that didn't happen. I still like the interactions. I'm just saying it's kind of annoying they did that. Now, going back to what I was saying earlier about how you could have broke this up into multiple episodes, Jugo's a very interesting character, and his and Sherry's actions during the occupation of the Hokkaido block could have made for interesting content. Also, Jugo is just an interesting character in general. It is frustrating that they took some of the most interesting elements of the story and they condensed it into flashbacks when it should have been, well, not condensed into flashbacks, but they condensed it, period. Obviously, it had to be a flashback because we're doing this story in real time. But like one episode here, one episode there, they should have devoted an entire arc of 3 episodes to discussing how Neo Britannia took over the Hokkaido block, because apparently a lot of stuff was going on. Jugo was still trying to do things which they mentioned earlier, but it would have been nice to have seen this, maybe show Black Knights trying to invade. I mean, there's just so many elements that could have been done here, but they condensed it to 1 episode, so you're missing so many key details. And going beyond Jugo, you have also just the timetables in general are kind of confusing. First, we see Ash as a child. I don't know how old he is. I assume maybe 8-10 years old, but I don't know with Nicole, whatever his name is, or Nicole. Wait, that's not his name. Nicola? Whatever. Anyways, his brother. Then they're with Norland. Then they're training. Then like years pass and we're at the Neo Britannia Empire. Bismarck is of course dead. It's just too damn fast. They should have slowed this down with a couple extra episodes. Again, we didn't have to waste time with the Damocles. If you wanted to accomplish certain things with that arc, like giving Haruka a better nightmare frame and the Z Ortigia, whatever, you could have done it in so many other ways. You didn't have to waste it with the Damocles. Because this to me is good stuff, but again, it's just so rushed and condensed, and it's super frustrating. I get what they're trying to do, but this isn't the way I would have done it. Everything in this episode was really working for me. It's just that we had to waste so much time to get here. I feel like we've spent 6 episodes prior to this and not much happened in retrospect. And now we're finally getting stuff halfway through the show. That's really depressing, and I wish they hadn't done that. So basically what I'm saying is this episode was really good by comparison to everything else, which makes me now question why they couldn't have done more of this and less of the other crap that we got. That's the ultimate frustration. It's like you guys pumped out a pretty good episode here. Where the hell was this like 3-4 episodes ago? Unfortunately, nowhere to be found. Another thing that's kind of confusing is the fact that Walther figured out that Sakura was talking about Sakuya somehow. That was kind of vague. I actually gave him more credit than the show did, which was I thought he looked up what was going on. But now I'm thinking if he was a knight for Sherry, then does that mean he knew of Sakura's existence? I don't know. It's It's not really explained. Catherine's existence in the show is becoming really tiresome. The dancing nightmare frame is just getting really ridiculous. I know she's supposed to have some kind of ballerina aspect to her nightmare frame combat, but now it's just getting silly. Arnold, by contrast, I think looked a lot better, so that was kind of cool. I'm curious to see more of him, and while I don't like the character that much, at least we got some backstory information where he was one of the kids Norland took in to train as like his soldier. So I guess I was going on with that. Alright, more issues. So Narah was recruited by Norland to work for Neo Britannia, and I'm going to assume that he adopted her just like Ash, maybe sometime afterwards. But it couldn't have been that much afterwards because we see her later on working for Neo Britannia. And if Norland didn't adopt her, where did she learn how to fight like that? Because she was an orphan too. Was she part of this Vogue thing? I don't know. It's really confusing. But even more confusing is the fact that Ash sees Narah literally as part of Neo Britannia, and they had a meeting where they failed to one of their operations. It sounds like this is like one of many. So why did Ash ask Narah in the car why she's working for Norland when he was aware she was doing this for a while now? It's almost like that was done for Sakuya and our benefit. And I bought in the last episode because maybe they didn't have time to talk about it, but clearly they probably did. It's really weird. Their relationship in this story is conveniently changed throughout the episodes. At one end they're really close, and other end they're not close at all. I don't know, there's something about that's really weird to me. Also, Narah sees Norland kill Nicole in cold blood, and she's totally fine with this, but yet later on she'll say stuff like, we're killing innocent civilians. I mean, Nicole is an innocent civilian. You might say, oh, he's been doing these assassination missions. That's because if he doesn't do that, Norland's going to kill him. You can't really equate that to, like, soldiers on a battlefield. But Narah doesn't make this distinction. It's really confusing. Her character arc is all over the place right now. And again, this is what happens when you have to condense everything into one episode instead of breaking this up into several. It's really frustrating. The next thing that I don't understand, and I hope to God they explain this, I've been very patient up to this point, which is when she used Geass on him during that interaction. There were so many questions that I had, like when this happened, why she did this, why that command, and so forth. And this condensed flashback has not answered any of those questions. I don't know when this was. I assume it was sometime after Jugo died because she knew he died. But also, she has to know he died, right? So that's an important detail that had to be passed on to her. I guess this must have been maybe a couple of days or who knows, because Ash went back to the orphanage, the Lavender House. So a lot of time must have passed since then. When did he decide to go after Sakuya? I have no idea. Was it like days, weeks afterwards? Who knows? How he didn't run into Sakura by accident since she was acting as a decoy is also really confusing. How did Sakuya know he killed her father? How would she know that? There's no indication at all that she would have any intimate knowledge of that. Did someone tell her this? This is really important information. See, originally I thought that she saw him kill him, or someone told her about it prior. But here it just seems like they ran into each other randomly. So that's kind of confusing. I guess the answer you could state is this, and again, this should have been more clearly stated. When Sakuya first interacted with Ash, she didn't know he killed her father. She found that out later on when they were just having a random conversation about something. Which means that Sakuya basically used Geass on Ash for seemingly no reason. Because she didn't know who he was. She didn't even know he was a threat. That's what makes it so confusing. Because originally I thought she did it because he killed her father. But now she used Geass on him for I don't know why. And the command was to serve someone you really love and it's very precious. And or to protect someone as if it's like a loved one or something like that. So I guess that's why Ash treats her like his brother. But I'm guessing if she took off her or changed her disguise, he wouldn't. The command is just really confusing. The Geass power Sakuya has is I thought I understood how it works. Now I'm honestly confused because Ash's behavior under it was very understandable up until this point. But now that I know what the command is, I'm really confused now. And just in general with what's going on. She just runs into him. She assumes he'd protect anyone who's a loved one. How does she know this information? You got to have some kind of intimate knowledge of a person to give a command like that. For example, with Gran and Greed, that made sense because she knew he killed a bunch of Japanese people and wouldn't save any more. So the command was basically for him to kill himself, but he had a chance to get out of it. So that command made sense. She understood his nature. she has no idea who Ash is. She doesn't understand if he would have this kind of devotion to save anybody. And I don't even know why they ran into each other to begin with. There's just so many details that are confusing here. And I hope they explain this, but something tells me they're not going to. Also, was Sakuya doing some kind of military operation? Who was she working for? She had like a suit on and armor, and it's just, God dang it, man. This could have been an extra episode just to explain this, because it's still rather confusing. And I know someone could be like, well, actually, if you think about it, here's what happened. Okay, I get that, but that's not your job. And that's what's frustrating about this. Again, you could have broke something in several episodes. Yeah, I just don't understand how she would have known that she can get the Geass command to him and he would just interact in that way, or it would work on him that way. It's really bizarre, because that command was deeply personal, and at the time she didn't know anything about him. They just ran into each other randomly, and she assumed that he would just protect her like a loved one, and then he started calling her his younger brother. Of course, he doesn't call her Nicole, he calls her Roze, but he still treats her like his younger brother. Like, how did that work out? How did she know to even be his younger brother? I mean, think about this, right? She used the Geass on him, and then he started serving her. So Ash was serving her before she became a dude. So when she becomes a dude, how is he, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it just, the more you think about it, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, if the command was, you will treat me as your younger brother and serve and protect me, that would make sense. But again, she didn't know he had a younger brother. She just pretended to, or she just made it up for the sake of the, the story, I guess, or for her, I don't know, her cover. But she didn't know he actually had a younger brother. Also, that background check, that's bullshit. That's the writer saying, hey, look, she looked into it, all right? That's garbage. Because, like, what background check wouldn't find this information out? Kristoff knew, like, he found out pretty easily. Why couldn't Sakuya find out? Why not just ask Ash where he comes from? You could literally just ask him. He's under Geass to serve you, so he'll give you the answers. God, this doesn't make any sense. This writing is so frustrating. The more I think about it, it's just really bad. And that's annoying because the rest of the episode is fine, but this one specific element just doesn't work. Instead of learning everything about Ash first and then tailoring the Geass for him, she on a whim assumed it would just work on him, and everything just kind of fell into place, and she learned later on what was going on. That's so stupid and kind of ruins everything. I hope they explain later on how this worked, because right now it's just super frustrating. And again, I don't know when this happened. The timetables in the show are so screwed up. Would it kill you just to put some dates on the screen, like this was 2016, this was 2018, this was 2020? Like, just tell me when these years were, because again, I don't have context for any of this. Are months passing by, years passing by? Who knows? Oh my god, it's super frustrating. And they do this all the time. The first episode didn't even tell you that 4 years passed after the prologue. So if you didn't look at the pamphlet or read the synopsis on the website, you would not have known that. It's, all right, I gotta calm down. I start off really positive, now we've gone to an angry rant, because unfortunately, that's just how I am sometimes. Overall though, let's go back to the positives. The episode at least is going in a positive direction, using the word twice there, and I can see the story getting better if we keep progressing in this way. But for the love of God, please give us more answers to questions and maybe work on the writing a little bit, which it's too late, the story's already done, but just retrospectively, work on the writing a little bit so things make more sense. Because now a lot of this seems like just horribly contrived writing just to get us to this point when that was not necessary. Anyways, though, I'd still give it a 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5 out of 10. Arguably the best episode in the series besides episode 1. But let me know what you guys think about this episode. And I finally uploaded my video which goes over exactly how the Damocles came back. And you can watch that video right here.